consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Welcome back to the Pitch Please podcast, the only baseball podcast where the hosts are dumb enough to say it out loud. We are sponsored by Blockbuster Video and Kmart stores around the United States and the world. We give big shout outs to our podcast sponsors. I'm your host, straight from the West Coast, David Eckstein, with my co-host over here, Raleigh Fingers. How we doing, Raleigh?
The human rain delay I also prefer too, dude. You know I put the abs in the ABS system. How you doing, brother?
All 8 of those abs too. I counted them yesterday. They're looking good, nice and oiled up. I'm digging it.
I'm like a real Giancarlo Stanton. You know what I mean?
Minus the bad elbows, hopefully.
Minus the bad elbows. We will certainly cover that because this here is season 1, episode 3, the final installment of the 2025 season preview. The Beast of the East. Who's going to take on the Eastern Seaboard? Should be a good one.
I'm excited for this one, brother. All jokes aside, this is the Pitch Please podcast with the brothers Ventura. I am the eldest brother, Corey, with my bro host,
Connor Baseball.
Connor Baseball, the human rain delay, a.k.a. Con the Don from Vietnam. I'm Mr. Steal Your Bag, the 5-tool fool. Let's get this thing going, man. I'm excited for the AL and NL East. I've been chomping at the bit for a while for this one, and I think you have been too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolute conglomerates in both the AL and NL that the East provides, man. Nothing like fall baseball on the East Coast. A little chill in the air, some aggressive fans grabbing at Mookie Betts' wrists. Who knows what's going to happen out there in October, you know?
That is true. That's what I love about baseball on the East Coast during that time of the year. Trees are changing, seasons are changing, playoffs are starting. Love that time of the year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't say enough about just the memories growing up, watching, the Yankees of days past out there, and just winning a lot of games. We have a little bit of blood also that played for the Mets and the Yankees, so it's in the pipeline somewhere.
Both the New York teams, we were blessed to see Robin play for the Mets against the Yankees in the old Subway Series, and that was a good one. I remember one of the most vivid memories I have of that is, I believe, who was that? Roger Clemens throwing the bat back at Mike Piazza when it broke?
Absolutely, it was. It sure was.
That was some fascinating drama and some great theater. And of course, the historic franchises in the East, the boys in Beantown.
Boys in Beantown.
I think they're going to be the talk of the town this year in a lot of ways. I have some things to say about the boys from Beantown this year. I'm a big fan of the Red Sox this year.
Yeah, check out the movie Fever Pitch, dude. Cannot beat that movie, honestly. Great it's a movie I'll watch before every season. I missed it right before the Tokyo series, but I think I'm going to get it in my schedule before we officially kick off here stateside for opening day.
I like that. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't seen that movie in probably 10, 15 years. I need to get back on that. In fact, you know what? I would love to hear from some people in the chat, too, if they got the time. What are your top 5 favorite baseball movies? And maybe we'll do a whole podcast episode dedicated to baseball movies and shows.
Absolutely. I would love that. Let's not forget about Baltimore, man.
I have it.
Scrappy team, and they're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. They have just an absolute stable of white dudes with ridiculous flows that all look really, really similar, and they're a talented team. And heading down north of the border, Blue Jays, man, Toronto, that's a fun city. You got a rep for the 6. You know that. What are they going to do? And then just, of course, rounding out with Tampa Bay, going down to Florida. I mean, they're kind of reinventing baseball down there. They're always doing something crazy with their cool little hijinks. So a lot of fun in the AL East, man. NL East, a lot of fun teams too. Braves, right here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Right here. If you're listening, I'm doing the chop. Got to do it. There you go.
Them in Florida State, man. Get those fans together and look like they're doing the robot, maybe. Double chop.
It'd be like Beyblades over there, dude. They'd be chopping each other like Bruce Lee.
That's scary. But I do think the NL East, I think I've said this about 3 different divisions, though. I mean, this one's going to be a barn burner, too. I think it's going to be a very tightly contested division. A lot of very good teams in the top 3, in my opinion. Yeah, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot.
A lot of a couple of horses kind of limping out of the stable in the old AL East this
That's not good
spring,
because
you know?
I don't want to see those horses get shot. So I hope the injuries are
I
okay
know.
on those
I know.
horses. You know, let's not
I
send these
know.
teams as
I
a
know.
glue factory already.
Yep, we'd have a real Sopranos moment with Pie Oh My. Shout out New Jersey.
Shout out your favorite show.
Talk to me about the NL East, brother. I already touched on the Braves a little bit. Then we got the fighting Phils, and what else you got over there?
Well, you know, let's talk about each team for a second before we start doing our projections. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Cool. So I'm going to start with some notable players who stood out in my favorite category, that being war. I'm in the industry of war. I am the war daddy. I'm an arms dealer. Just this right one, though. Got one cannon, that's it. And you know what? I can still bring it, buddy. So, anyways, we'll show that off later.
For the
But
casual listener, wins above replacement is war.
yes, and to the casual listeners out there, let's get a little bit more serious as we go. Okay, let's not be so cash. Let's improve over the year, over this season. We're
Let's
gonna
not
improve together.
ostracize. Let's not ostracize. Let's grow the game and embrace them. You know.
What did I say about those big words? They confuse me. Anyways, back to the National League East. I'm going to touch on 3 players from each team in the National League East that stood out last year with their WAR ratings. I just want to touch on that really quick, which again stands for wins above replacements. One of the most important stats. You know, for the Atlanta Braves, listen, not a great year for WAR last year for the Braves, actually, which is surprising. You know, one of my biggest, I don't know if I call him an MLB crush. I don't know. I'm a fanboy, I guess, of the player. I'm a big Austin Riley guy. He had a not so impressive WAR last year, but Marcelo Zuna had a 4.7. That guy's always a threat at the plate. Dare I say, one of the most intimidating players at the plate. He's just an intimidating dude. If I was Will Smith, Mack Truck. If I was Will Smith, I might have just kept my head down and said, "That was a nice hit on my helmet, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks for waking me up." You know. So
Will Smith is known for slapping people, though. Oh wait, no, that's another one.
That's a different Will. Respect to him as well, though.
I see.
Anyways, so yeah, those 2 players. I think Austin Riley's going to bounce back. I think I'm gonna see Austin Riley in the 5 to 6 WAR this year, and I'm hoping for it because he dropped down to like the 2.7 last year, which is not great.
Now, what exactly constitutes a war daddy in your book? Are we talking 3+ WAR?
Yeah, I'm talking anything over 3.5, maybe 4, in my opinion, for a position. For a position player. Now, I know it's harder for a pitcher to get a high WAR. Somehow Chris Sale had a 6.4 last year, which is incredible, but that guy is an alien. So, I mean, I get it. But, you know, for me, I'm looking for Austin Riley to step up. And Acuna, when he comes back, I mean, Acuna is a historic war daddy. I mean, you go look up a history book, and he's in every chapter of that book. So he's coming back from an injury. We know who Acuna is. He's a 5-tool fool, just like we are. He's going to bounce back. I think we're going to see him again, dare I say, 7 range.
Yeah, that one's not surprising. I mean, he's an absolute animal. He stole 70 bags a couple of years ago.
Which is insane to me.
Mr.
Like
Steal Your Bags. Secure the bag alert.
I think I should give him a trophy at the end of the year, from Mr. Steal Your Bag to the King Steal Your Bag.
Absolutely. I agree. So to recap, 3 war daddies right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Acuna Jr., Austin Riley, and Chris Sale?
Yeah. I mean, he was 6'4". I mean, that was last year, so.
I think that's how tall he is, too.
I think you're right. That matches up. That matches up. So we'll see how they do this year. We listed off the wars for last year. I think the Braves will improve across the board. They're always a competitive team. We know that. Yeah, sure. So moving on, New York Mets, man. I mean, they picked up Juan Soto. They won the raffle. I'm happy for the Mets, to be honest. I think Juan Soto fits well with them. Sure. He looks good in the colors. He's had a great spring. He's mashing. I mean, we expect that. They got Francisco Lindor at 7.8 last year. Juan was 6.5. Pete lagged a little bit at 3. I think Pete's definitely had better. He had a down year. Let's see what this new contract does. I know he had to really fight for it. He felt unappreciated. He got money, but I think he wanted a bigger bag. We'll see if he has a chip on his shoulder and brings that WAR up and has a hell of a year. I'm excited.
The thing about Soto is, I'm just glad because you mentioned his nice spring he's having. He's just mashing out there. I think New York was kind of getting to him, so I'm glad he could get out of the big city like New York and then head to New York. You know what I mean? And so he's kind of clearing his head.
Yeah,
he looks great in New York. I think they're welcoming him with arms wide open, like Creed, little Scott Stapp.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a change of scenery, even if it's in the same city.
Absolutely, brother. Completely agree.
See a couple different skyscrapers than the ones that you saw, last year.
Yeah, just a slightly different angle of them,
That's it. And I do think that the Mets are going to be a problem this year, along with the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies are always great. So let's talk about them a little bit. Another pitcher with a surprisingly high WAR, just because it's hard for pitchers to score highly on the WAR category, is Zach Wheeler. I mean, that guy is an innings eater. He's always a top 10 pitcher at the end of the year for starters, especially the last couple of years. And then we got, in my opinion, if we're talking like historic WAR daddies and someone who embodies the persona and the look and the edge and then the statistics as a player, let's talk Bryce Harper, man. I know you're a big Bryce Harper fan. Talk to me about Bryce.
I believe I met him at a Red Robins one time when he was about 17 years old, right after he was on Sports Illustrated cover, and that's not a joke. And
interesting. Did not know that.
He tips well. Okay, so that's very important. I think that is a very important cornerstone of what it is to be a good human being. So first off, he's a good tipper. Plays the game right, obviously, man. If he can stay healthy and play a solid first base, he was learning that position the last couple of years. He's gonna hit. Got to stay healthy. And talk about just an ultimate leader of men. He's going to have that clubhouse right. We kind of touched on a couple clubhouses that, we've heard through sources. They could have some issues. We talked about the Padres, the White Sox, obviously, were in there. I don't think you have to worry about that with the Phillies.
No. Phillies have great chemistry. They have for the last, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
The lineup's stacked, man, and so is the pitching staff. The Phillies are going to be a problem in the NL throughout the playoffs, I think. I forgot to mention Trey Turner with a 3.9 WAR last year. Still also himself kind of had a down year. I think he can get that in the mid-4s to, maybe up to 5, maybe a little higher. Trey Turner, I mean, I just love watching that guy play. I really do. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. Loved him on the Dodgers. So fun to watch. So fast. So dynamic. So explosive. That slide I could watch 100 times a day and 200 on Sunday.
Can you imagine him on a slip and slide? That'd be amazing.
I would pay to watch that on YouTube, to be honest.
I'm sure we can get something from ChatGPT to draw something up for us.
I love technology. Thank you, ChatGPT.
It is great. No, dude, I mean, obviously I like the Phillies a lot. X factor for me. What are you going to get out of Alec Baum? You know what you can get out of Schwarber. You know what you're going to get, for the most part, out of JT Realmuto. Trey Turner, you touched on. Bryce Harper. If you can get a better season out of Alec Baum, that is a potent lineup. Lineup. With the Zach Wheeler and the Aaron Nola. I mean, the 1-2 punch, 1A, 1B punch, really. Dangerous team. I like the Fighting Phils. That city always backs them. You do not want to go there in October. I'll tell you.
No, you don't. That crowd gets jumping. I mean, I think they're starting off earthquakes like they do in Seattle over there in Philly. And it's just a great sports town in general. I mean, the Eagles just won the dang Super Bowl. Sorry, Connor. I mean, they're winners over there in Philly. They're winners right now. And look,
it's a bad place to go in October for baseball. It's a bad place to go in December if you're Santa Claus, because they will throw batteries at you. Okay.
They will. Absolutely. And listen, I'm a believer in Alec Bohm. I think the guy's legit. He's had a great spring.
Yeah.
And talk about flow. We were talking about flow last episode. Guys got flow.
Yeah. Didn't even consider him. He's up there for sure.
Yeah.
He could be the Bohm for sure.
Bring in the Bohm.
That's right. He could be bringing the Bohm.
The Costco family.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we touched on the big hitters. We got some Marlins fans. they're reaching out to us. We got some
Heck yeah.
national fans of the show. Do not think that we forgot about you guys.
Not at
I
all. We would
like the
never.
future that's being built right now down
Yeah,
there in the nation's capital. Future's
me
bright.
too.
And
I
Miami,
think th-
Fun
I
City, man.
think
It could be a
that
fun team in a couple of years.
just to touch on the Nationals in our nation's capital, C.J. Abrams, I think, is going to make big strides, leaps and bounds this year. He's already a great player, great prospect. I think he might turn into a top shortstop this year. I think he has the potential. And I know for whatever reason they're not listing. Oh, yeah, they are. Sorry, Dylan Cruz. That's what I was looking for. I'm pretty excited about Dylan Cruz. I watched him at LSU a lot. Big LSU Tigers fans when it comes to baseball. I think the guy is a stud. They moved him from shortstop to right field. That might make him, a little bit more focused on his batting than so concerned about fielding. I don't know. It could be the opposite, actually, moving to a new position. We will see. But the Nationals, I think, might surprise some people. They got Josh Bell at DH. Nathaniel Lowe at first base. I mean, that guy is a pretty good baseball player. What am I talking? He just had a down year last year a little bit, but that guy's a good first baseman, man.
Silver Slugger for the Rangers a couple years ago. Had
That's
a big,
right.
a nice postseason for the Rangers when
Yeah.
they won in 2024. Just a solid overall player. And he
Yeah.
also is in that brother conversation with, I'm blanking, Lau.
Yeah,
His
Brandon.
brother, for the Rays, right?
Yeah, Brandon Lau.
Yeah, exactly. So he's up there in that conversation, and that's really important. Let me do a
Yeah.
quick game with you here about the Nationals. It's called Real or Fake. All right. So I'm gonna name 3 names. You tell me if they're a real player on the Nationals or if they're a name I just made up.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Number 1, Mitchell Parker.
Well, since I don't. Yeah, that's a real player. Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, don't look at your roster.
Oh, sorry.
Good, you nailed it. Good job. Okay,
Thank you. Left-handed
luckily
pitcher,
I
by
have
the way.
2 more
Sorry.
names.
Okay.
Jacob Young.
Jacob Young. Fake.
He's very much a real player, and he's one of the top-rated defensive outfielders. And this is part of the fun because these guys can come out here and surprise you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought that he's one of the fastest players and one of the best defensive outfielders in the game? You know what I mean? So if you're a
Not
Nationals
me.
fan, you have a reason to go to the ballpark, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And last but not least, of course, Michael Hendricks. Do you know him?
Totally know Michael Hendricks. Great player. Doesn't exist, but
Exactly. Nailed it. Very nicely
I was gonna
done.
say, is that Liam Hendricks' Australian brother? Younger Australian brother?
Yeah, it's the 5th Hendricks brother.
Nice. The youngest. Jimmy was the oldest. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Nailed it.
Nailed
Good
it.
That's
no,
a fun
but
game, though. That's a fun game. I like that.
It is a fun game. I was gonna try on the Marlins, but they had a lot of Dominican names I was gonna really butcher, so I tried it with the Nationals instead.
I appreciate that because you would have got me on every single play on the Marlins except for Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah. One more thing on the Nats. Dylan Cruz, obviously, just 2nd overall pick in 2023 out of LSU, like you said. Dude, this kid's only 23 years old still. Like,
Yeah.
this could be a year where he really comes onto the scene and shows why he was taken number 2 overall. It
I
could be
agree.
a really fun time watching him, and I think the Nats should be excited. I'm not
Yeah.
as optimistic on C.J. Abrams as you are. You know, he came over from the Padres in that Juan Soto deal. He was benched last year for effort issues. Apparently, he's out too late at the casinos out there.
Not a good sign.
They benched him. So I'm not loving his baseball savant stats on hitting either, man. He plays a decent shortstop, but we're going to see if 2025 is a new leaf for him. How about that?
Let's turn it, CJ. We'll turn that leaf together. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Kybert Ruiz, catcher. I mean, once, I believe, in the Dodgers system. Is that right?
Sounds about right. I mean, Dodgers just trade everyone away. I'm sure they traded him away for some superstar.
Yeah. And then Long Dong DeLong. So, DeJong, sorry. Messed that one up. We'll edit that one out. Damn.
Classic.
Next time. I got to tighten up.
Do you have the Marlins or the Nationals in last place?
Take a guess.
Give me, unfortunately, I think you're going to say the Marlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing about the Marlins, which I don't like.
Educate me.
This team, first off, they got rid of Jake Smashburger. All right, that's 29 home runs gone. Shipped him off to the Rangers. Uh, Basically, this team is revolved around Jesus Sanchez. You might as well call him the Jesus Sanchez Smashers. Top 1% of exit velo. Dude rakes. But he's
Wow.
29, 27 years old. He looks about 32. But, dude, when the ball comes off his bat, it looks different. Here's
Well,
what I
when
don't like.
you represent a name like Jesus, that better be coming off the bat a little different. So I believe it because I'm a
You
believer.
could say it'd be biblical.
Woo!
Here's what I don't like. Pretty much everything else about the team, and I hate to say that. No, number one in the league last year in chase rate, 32.3%, Corey, and that is by a large margin. These guys are going to swing the bat at balls outside the zone, and you can't be having that. It's a lot of strikeouts. That's a rally killer.
As a rally
I,
killer.
they did not follow, Economics 101, and they did not sell high on Sandy Alcantara. They could have
They did
got
not.
Gavin Lux and 5 other prospects from the Dodgers for him. What are you going to get for him now coming off an injury? When will they get rid of him, and what will they get for him? They got to get rid of him.
I think the Yankees are going to get him during the season.
The Yankees.
The Yankees, the Bankies.
There is a natural snowbird connection from Florida and New York, so it makes sense.
That makes sense. I can confirm this. I watch a lot of Seinfeld, and Jerry would fly to visit his parents at the retirement home in Florida a lot, so that is confirmed. I just want to speak on the Marlins a little bit more. And listen, Florida, I'm sure, I've never been. I've heard it's a beautiful state. You got Miami. Looks incredible. Nightlife,
Sure.
money, wealth, beauty. I think it's a shame that the Marlins have been so bad for so long is what I'm getting at. Like, Miami and Florida deserves better. That is a baseball state when it comes to high school. I mean, of course, a football state too, but definitely a football and baseball state, much like California. Not quite as good as California, we all know. Come on now. But,
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, I'm just saying for the fans of the Miami Marlins, if you're out there, I feel for you. You deserve better, and I hope they can turn this thing around. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Sorry.
It's unfortunate because the state just recently showed that they can get a large crowd. If you watch the Savannah Bananas in Tampa Bay, they sold out the stadium, dude. I think 70,000 plus people.
Didn't they beat the Marlins? I'm just kidding.
They probably could. I think it'd be close, dude. And then for the World Baseball Classic, they show that people will show up for the Puerto Ricos, the Dominican Republics, Cubas, Panama. I mean, whoever they are going to show up. It's just I don't like the product on the field for the Marlins, unfortunately.
So you believe if they put a winning product on the field for a year or two, there will be an influx in fans?
I think if you build it, they will come.
Great movie reference. Nice.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I mean that's probably top 5 for sure. I love that, dude. Let me just put a pin in the. No, yeah. Let me put a pin in this Marlins conversation here. I got a name for you, Devison de los Santos. Ever heard of him?
Connor, I can't say that hat. Educate me again, please. You're pulling a lot of rabbits out of the hat today. I like it.
Yeah, Devison de los Santos, 21 years old, likely a third baseman, DDLS. All right, remember that. Team's number 5 overall prospect. He hit 40 home runs last year in the minor leagues, Corey.
For the
Most
Marlins.
of which were over 420 feet.
We're still talking about the Marlins, right?
Talking about the Marlins.
Why the hell didn't they bring him up last year then?
If he's 21 years old and dropping 40 home runs in the minor leagues, why is he not at the show already? This is what I'm talking about.
Maybe this is the point. This is how Marlins are running their business here.
Yeah, and maybe they're worried about service time, stuff like that.
And listen, I know you watched that documentary probably on the whole ownership thing with the Derek Jeter stuff in the past. That was a whole mess. I still think they're recovering from that. So, I don't know. I would love to see DDLS. Is that his name?
Absolutely.
Bring him up. Let him play. Let the boy swing.
Let the boy swing. Let the boy swing, dude. Exactly. So, Marlins fans, look, you got some talent out there. Can your ownership maintain and sustain?
I mean, I'm sure they could go to IMG Academy and get some dudes to play and fill in and get some wins.
I mean, half the major leagues is from South Florida, North Florida. You know what I mean? It's just there is a talent pool there. We just got to work on making the professional teams a little better.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, boys. We can do this.
So I got the Yep. I got the Marlins finishing last, and then the Nationals, and that's a lot of coverage for 2 last place teams, basically.
Yeah, that was a lot of coverage because we respect baseball in general, right? Like, it doesn't matter who your team is. We're going to cover it because we're baseball junkies.
Absolutely, because in 3 years, when the Marlins win the World Series, you're gonna look back on this podcast and say those Ventura boys know what they're talking about.
That's right,
You know what
because
I mean?
we're on the nose with this stuff. That's what we do. We're on the
Yeah,
beat.
and
And
we're gonna be serving that humble pie and just saying, you know what, a broken clock is right twice a day.
that's
And we're
right.
gonna move on and
That's right.
press and act like we've been here before
Someone's got it.
because we have. All right, it feels like we're doing NL, so I'm gonna stay in the NL for now.
Yeah, you want to do the projections on your end for wins,
Uh,
or did we skip?
I mean,
No, we didn't skip.
I got a couple things to talk about on the Mets still.
Oh,
I think
continue, buddy.
obviously,
Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna let you. Yeah, let me let you flow. Go ahead.
I mean, the NL East is obviously a three-horse race,
Uh
is
huh.
how I look at it. We talked about the Marlins to an extent, talked about the Nats. If you're fans of those teams, go ahead and zone out because we're talking about three teams here.
Yeah.
The Mets, you talked on, Polar Bear coming back, interesting scenario there. Lindor is back, Soto sweepstakes, all that good stuff. Absolute liability in right field, obviously an elite hitter. You know what you're going to get with Soto.
Yep.
Does it kind of feel like to you, Corky, that the Mets are a Lamborghini and we're using 87cc unleaded fuel for it? You know what I mean? I'm not pleased with their pitching lineup. They're going to be
Yeah.
relying a lot on Kodai Senga. He ran out of gas and was hurt a lot of the year last year. He looked a little shaky in the playoffs against the Dodgers. They're already dealing with injuries with Shamanaya, Frankie Montas. They lost
Yeah.
Severino to a record deal to the Athletics of all people. Jose Quintana, we talked about him last episode. It just feels like the arms are lacking compared to the bats a little bit for the Mets to compete with the firepower of the Phillies and the Braves.
I could see that. I'm more of like they're a Lamborghini, but they got a nail or two nails in the tire, but they can recover from this. I still think they're gonna be a problem. I mean, just looking at Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nemo, Vientos. I think Vientos is a dude, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh,
Vientos, yep.
Brett Beatty. Some people really love that guy. Jesse Winker is kind of a guy too. And look, Kodai Senga makes up his own pitches. He's got a ghost fork, and I heard he just came up with the what is it, guillotine or something? I don't even know what that's going to look like.
Is that really what it's called?
No, I was listening to another podcast today.
That's
That made a
amazing.
funny name. But he did. He has a ghost fork, and then there's another pitch that he supposedly came up with this year. So we'll see. He's a creative, clever guy, like a pitcher's pitcher kind of thing. I know he didn't have the greatest year last year, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, oblique strain for Shamanaya. We'll see how long that keeps him out. I think when he's on, he's great.
Yeah.
I think they're putting in the right fuel. I just think they got a flat tire or two right now.
Okay. And that's what AAA is for. Shout out to the sponsors. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
It-
Yeah.
It's a long season, and this could kind of behoove the Mets in this
Ah.
scenario. And I'm all about behooving, you know?
Well,
Okay,
you did
let's
say
move
it's
on.
a 3-horse race, so they all have hoops.
Exactly, dude. This is just so good. The Atlanta Braves, dude, the team of the South, really. Do you understand how geographically significant the Braves are?
I do because my wife's from North Carolina, so it's weird how everyone in North Carolina is a Braves fan, but it does make sense because of where they are geographically located, as you mentioned.
Yeah, east of Dallas, all the way to the East Coast and parts of Florida, man, they just absolutely dominate. And so
Yeah,
they have
I would
a
say
big following.
until the Expos get moved to New Orleans in a couple years as the expansion team, they're going to rule
Yeah.
the South.
Quick note on the New Orleans team. I want to talk about this later.
Yeah.
I want to pitch a New Orleans team called the New Orleans Voodoo. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
That's real nice. I like that. And the only reason I said bringing back the Expos and moving them to New Orleans because Montreal is historically French, and moving them to the French Quarter in New Orleans, I thought would be kind of like copacetic, if you will. So I thought that was a clever idea. And by the way,
It is clever.
thank you. One of my favorite logos historically in baseball was the original Expos logo. I was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
Expo. Yeah.
So nice, though. So nice. I don't mind the Blue Jays, though, if we're sticking to Canada. And
Oh,
quick sidebar. Not a big fan of the Nashville Stars look.
no. Is that the name
did you
that they
see that?
Yeah. I didn't even like the name, to be honest.
Yeah, why would they make them black and white? It looks like the White Sox, man. I don't know. Could have added a little gold in there or something, maybe.
Yeah, gold, kind of Nashville gold. I mean, I understand the stars thing because of Nashville and country music stars. I guess I
Yeah.
get that. But like, we already got a Dallas Stars hockey team. I mean, I know there's two giants in multiple sports, but like, let's get a little bit more creative. Maybe we could do it.
A couple Cardinals, too. But anyways, did the Braves retool enough? do you think? They lost Max Fried. Shout out Southern California kid, by the way.
Shout out.
Did the Braves retool enough? What are they going to get out of Acuna? He's coming off a significant knee injury. You got your boy Austin Riley, Matt Chapman, absolute animal.
Yep.
But did they do enough in the offseason?
You got me really excited. I was like, wait, they have Matt Chapman now? You meant Matt Olson?
Matt Olson. My fault.
I think I'm just looking at the lineup with some guys coming back from injury, some guys having down years last year, like Austin Riley, and then, as we said, Acuna had a really terrible knee injury. I think this team's back, man. I mean, I'm just looking at, and they got Profar, who he got. How's the injury that he got in preseason with the jammy his wrist? I don't know how that panned out. This list is from a little bit earlier in preseason, so depending on how that played out, he's a pesky guy. Don't really love him as a player personally, just with all the experiences against him on the Padres as a Dodgers fan. But he can,
naturally, yeah.
But he's a pest, man. He's a pest. And then Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, Ozzy Albies. I'm a big fan of Albies, by the way. I'm a big Albies guy. Michael Harris is second. I think they're going to be back. I think they're going to be back to the tune of second place in this division.
Second place. Interesting. I like that. Okay. Dude, this division is, I think, the tightest in baseball. We talked about it AL West. It's right there with it. I think
I changed my opinion. Tighter. This is tighter to me for sure. Now that I look at it.
And I mean, obviously the Phillies, man, just so solid. So give me.
Yeah, for me, it's rolling the dice. I could really see the Phillies, Mets, or Braves winning this division, to be honest. Yeah. And I could go either way with all three of them.
But this here is a objective podcast, and so I will make a claim. Okay. I'm going to put Braves in third, second Phillies, and give me... Oh, my gosh. How embarrassing. Braves in third, second the Mets, and first the Phillies.
Yeah.
I'm a fanatic.
I got Phillies, Braves, Mets, and I got the Mets and Braves separated by 2 games in terms of wins.
Dude, what really pushed me over the edge to put the Phillies number 1 is that Corey Matthews is a massive friend of the show.
Respect
and Corey
you,
Matthews from the show Boy Meets World on ABC and Disney, shout out, loved Jim Abbott.
And still does, by the way.
And still does to this day.
And just so you guys don't know,
his father had a lot of life lessons there, and you can't beat that.
Was there there's not too many better TV dads than Alan Matthews, man. That guy was the man. And by the way, shout out to Fred and Ben Savage. Love them. Shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want a completely different version of Alan Matthews, look at the movie American History X.
Good point. Good point. Yes, very different.
Not a family-friendly movie.
Kind of ruined, very important. Kind of ruined Boy Meets World for me after that, though. I couldn't look at it the same as it did.
Kind of did a little bit.
Just gonna say it.
But yeah, man. So book me with the Phillies. We're gonna do a quick recap of all 3 videos here at the end to kind of just summarize our picks, review receipts, and then we're gonna look back here about halfway through the season and the end of the season, see how we did. It's book me, Philadelphia Phillies win the division in the National League East.
Well, we both got the Phillies, so not too much to debate there, I guess. I'm interested to see how the ALS pans out. Maybe we'll have a little bit more to debate there.
What is the ALS? The disease?
Man, we're having some Freudian slips there. AL East, sorry.
Of course. AL East, dude. Conglomerates like we talked about. New York. Love it. But let me start north of the border of our friends in Toronto, the Fighting Aubrey Grahams.
You seem to love the Fighting Drakes, man.
I really do. Toronto Blue Jays. What are they going to do with Vladdy? This is being recorded on the 19th of March, and they did not sign him according to his deadline. Is it too late to sign him? Is it too late to trade for him? Is he going to play out? If so, where's he headed? I think all roads for Toronto lead through Vladdy.
And do you think he's staying?
No.
So
I don't think they're going to be able to trade him. I think he's just going to walk, and it's going to be a Shohei Ohtani situation with the Angels.
Interesting. And then he'll just go to the Dodgers? Just kidding.
No, if
that wouldn't work out.
Honestly, suitors for Vladdy, dude. Let me throw this at you. probably a tepid take.
Yeah, pepper me with it.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
I mean, because his dad. That'd
Your
be a
dad.
beautiful, little trajectory of their careers for sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I would feel bad for him going there though.
Such a
I mean,
Halo hater.
no. Let's just be honest. If you want to win, you don't go to the Angels.
My goodness. My goodness.
The truth hurts sometimes. It's like poetry. No one really likes it.
30 minutes ago, you introduced yourself as David Eckstein, and now you're just trashing him.
I can be a fan of players. David Eckstein is one of my favorite players of all time. Don't forget about Timmy Sam, the Kid
Yep.
Fish, like Tim
The
Salmon.
original Kid Fish.
The original Kid Fish 1.0 for sure. I mean, Gary DiSarcina, one of the greatest names in all of baseball history. I could say that all
That is
day
beautiful.
long.
Darren Erstad. But we're getting a
Darren
little
Erstad.
askew here
Yeah,
from the Blue
sorry
Jays.
about that. Yeah, we're back in the AL East. My bad.
Can Bo Bichette, not Boba Fett, harness the energy of his newly found haircut? Because he had a down year last year. No longer in the flow running. That's okay. He is carte blanche, blank slate. He's going to go out there and have a year.
I think this is the way for both Bo Bichette, and he will find his way again. And I think he will rise to the top of the shortstop list by the end of the year.
Absolutely. And I think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to rise with them to last place in the AL East.
I was just going to say, that's where I have him as well, too. At the bottom of the levee.
At the bottom of the levee. At the bottom, they got Scherzer, but he's already complaining about thumb pain, and he's always kind of grouchy, yelling at people.
He is grouchy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a grouchy fella.
Listen, they got the Goss, Kevin Gossman.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't he the brother of the country singer that I like?
Zach Bryan.
Wrong. No, we'll get back to that one as well too.
All right.
But,
man. So I had the Blue Jays last place. That's okay.
That's okay.
We'll see what happens with Vladdy. Maybe they'll re-sign him. That'd be great for the team, great for Canada, and therefore great for the world. And
Yes.
as is tradition. But there's a reason why these free agents keep snubbing their noses to Toronto. I don't like
Now-
it, but no one signs there.
Let me ask you this, Connor, real quick, back to Vladdy before we move on to the next team. If Canada becomes the next great state of these United States, do you think he will stay in Toronto?
No. I think he has packed his bags. He's going to Toronto, or he's leaving Toronto. Gone. Book it.
I'm sorry, Drake.
I hope they can. I hope they can trade for him, honestly, so that they get some assets.
Oh, Drake's just been getting a lot of L's lately, man. I feel bad for that guy, but
Yeah, I don't
that's
follow
fine.
rap music, but I'll take your word for it for sure.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, go ahead and tell me what you got next there, Sonny.
Well, this may not have been the case if it were a different year for this team, because usually this team always figures it out, usually always makes the playoffs, does a lot more with a lot less usually. But I'm going to have to say, I think this situation with the minor league stadium with the Tampa Bay Rays is going to affect them a little bit more than maybe some other people think. So I think that they're going to be a higher win fourth place team, but I got them in fourth place at 81 wins.
Talking about the Yankees?
No, the Rays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I can see how that's confusing because they are playing in the Yankees minor league stadium, which is weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, here's the thing about the Rays. I hope they get a new stadium. Obviously, as of 19 March, we don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. We know what they're doing this year, and it should be a challenge. Maybe the Trop is going to get a full-on facelift. Maybe they move somewhere else in St. Petersburg. Would be good for the team, would be good for the organization, so they're not always scrapping by. Imagine if this team, and a lot of people have been saying it, essentially the Dodgers are the Rays, but with money. What if the Rays had money? That'd be sweet. And let's go get another AL East freaking boss machine over here, and let's roll. But it's just not the case. We got to have a better facility than the Trop. It's consistently rated just bottom tier list of stadiums, and now it doesn't have a roof. So that's gonna be a struggle,
They tore the roof off that bitch.
Yeah, they sure did. Here's a fun little stat for you, Corky. Ever heard of the stat WOBA WOBA.
Wins above advancement. No, I have not.
WOBA is weighted on base average. Okay. So
Thank you, sir.
stick with me here. I'm about to put on my professor glasses.
Ah,
And what is WOBA, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Unlike on base percentage and OPS, both very important stats, WOBA assigns value to each method of reaching base in terms of impact on scoring runs. Okay.
wow.
So that means if you walk, you get a certain point, and that is compared to if you had a double, you get more points for a double because you're closer to home
Uh,
plate, you're closer to scoring, right? So WOBA is like this all-encompassing stat that combines OPS, OBP, and slugging, and basically measures how close you are to scoring and how efficient you are at scoring. Okay,
interesting.
look at Rays were bottom 3% in the MLB last year in WOBA.
And that's not
Means
good.
they're probably getting on base, but
Oh, that is
probably
good.
not scoring.
Oh, so a lower war, but it's like golf.
Yes, precisely.
Ah, got it. That's why I didn't understand.
Yeah, so you can be War Daddy. I'll be Woba Daddy.
Why don't you go by Wobba Fett?
That's much better. That's much better. Okay. Well, look, book it. All right. So be on the
Yeah,
lookout for Woba when it comes to the Rays. This is not a terrible team, but that is a very, very concerning stat.
that
Bottom
is very
3%.
concerning. Before I forget this, producer Mowgli Merle, can you put Wobba Fett on Connor's long list of nicknames, please, before we forget? Thank you.
Yeah, let me check on my producer as well. Sago.
What's that, girl?
How's that go? You want to put a bow on the Rays for us here?
Yeah, let's tie it tight and move on.
Yeah. All right. Good to go there. I know you're a bean eater, so I'm just going to talk about the Red Sox in no particular order. I like talking about the Red Sox. Go check out
Uh,
Fever Pitch starring Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. It's the only time that Drew does not completely annoy me, right? It's a great movie. Let's talk about the Red Sox. Dude, some huge,
you didn't mean that, Drew.
titanic, even monumental offseason moves. Alex Bregman, Aroldis Chapman, what's left of him. Walker Buehler recorded the final out of the World Series for your Los Angeles Dodgers, right?
Yep.
What are they going to do with Rafael Devers? A lot of trade speculation there with Mr. Devers. I got some suitors listed for you. We can talk about that in a second. Dude, but the future is bright for the Bean Eaters, too. Number one overall prospect, Roman Anthony, 20 years old, described as prodigious?
That's correct,
Prodigious?
Connor.
Yeah, prodigious raw power.
Yeah, did you see it in spring training?
Yeah, I mean, some of those balls are still landing.
I think the ball just landed in Rome 2 hours ago. Finally came
Yeah.
out. 72 hours
Dude,
later.
This is a nasty lineup. You know,
It
they got
really
Tristan
is.
Houses also coming up. He's
Uh-huh.
going to be a stud.
Yep.
This lineup is really nice, dude. Obviously, Chris Sale. Wow.
That was a big get. Yeah.
Watch out for the Bo Sox.
Look, man. You know what a fan I am of Jaron Duran, and I think you and I differ there a little bit. But an 8.1 WAR, that's almost MVP level. Let's just call it what it is. I think that guy's going to continue it. I'm gonna go even further. I'm just gonna read the lineup. And I'm gonna say something right after. Then you got Rafael Devers, Alex Bregman, Tristan Casas, Trevor Story. Let's not forget about Trevor Story. Like that guy
What a
used
story
to be
he
a dude.
was.
What a story Trevor Story was. I believe in him. He could come back. And listen, if he doesn't, Marcelo Meyer might just come right up in a few months. Who knows? That guy hit a home run too, and he's a top prospect. Wilyer Abreu, Connor Wong, great name. Conde.
Great name, dude.
Yeah. And one guy that I am maybe more excited about than almost any other player coming up, Christian Campbell.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Christian Campbell. I am so. Oh, let's talk about the starting pitching staff. Garrett Crochet was a huge get for them.
Yep.
Huge get. And Walker Buehler, the walk daddy. Walk it, like it, talk it. You know what I'm saying? Hey. I am so bullish on this team. I see them in the World Series this year.
Is this your AL mistress?
This is my AL mistress for sure. And I've always
Over
kind
the
of
A's.
been. Yeah, just because I think they're going to be more relevant in terms of competing and winning. But sure. I've always been a little bit partial to the Red Sox. I'm a big fan of red, favorite color. Just gonna say it. I love beards, and they're grimy, man. I just like the style in which they play. I love the historic nature of the stadium and the franchise. I'm kind of a secret Red Sox fan.
I love that, dude. I love that. We should get you some Red Sox hats for sure.
In fact, for the gym that I own, we stole the Boston Red Sox logo for Big Era Fitness. Yeah, so
But
kind of
not really stole. You took
Not
some
stole.
inspiration from.
Inspiration is the word. Yes.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I want to touch on one thing. I am such a fan of Boston in some ways because I owe so much thanks to them as a Dodgers fan for Mookie Betts. So I got to give them that too. So thanks again, Boston.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet.
I'm a sweet
it comes
guy.
full circle. Another good Boston Red Sox movie, although less baseball oriented, Good Will Hunting. So just put that in your
Great
cap as well.
movie. Great movie. Good call.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I like the Red Sox a lot too. This is gonna be a solid team. I can't wait for this Roman Anthony to come up, dude. This dude is just gonna be peppering it over the Green Monster. My goodness, what a stud! What a great name.
It's a strong name for sure.
Yeah. In no particular order, I will be moving on to Baltimore Orioles. How about that?
I like it. I'm a fan of the Orioles, man.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this one?
So big fan of the Orioles. I think that obviously they're a young team. Big gunner head, like any middle infielder. I'm kind of like, if you're in the MLB and you're a middle infielder, I'm probably a fan of some type. But Gunnar Henderson's at the top of the list for me. I believe he's only, 22, 23?
I believe so. 23, I think, yeah.
What was his WAR last year? Eight flat WAR.
WAR Daddy.
WAR Daddy category.
Book it.
Book it. So I lost my place here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Going back to the lineup.
Let me fill some dead air for you. Jackson Holiday.
Get in there.
We're trying to talk about.
Actually, no, I wasn't. I'm not even impressed by that guy. But go ahead.
I have nothing to say.
He struggled, man. He struggled big time.
Will he be the better Holiday between his father Matt and his brother Ethan?
No, I hear Ethan's supposed to be the guy, but I don't know shit about shit. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, and I hope both brothers do great. I have heard that he's great. I haven't seen it yet. I'd like to see it. I just hope. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
Okay, sounds good. How do I pronounce the name? Is it Kirsten Herstad?
Yes, nailed it. Sounds like the announcer for the Dodgers, but
sounds like my bus driver when I went to Norway. Honestly, that's a solid name.
You know, it could be the same guy.
It could very. A lot of them were named Kirsten. Honestly, dude, Orioles, Yankees, in my opinion, are down and out. We're going to talk about them. Can the Orioles finally capitalize? They have this young core. They've had the young core. We haven't even talked about the first overall draft pick. I'm blanking on his name way back when, from Oregon State. Help me out, brother.
This
is not good.
This is not good.
This is not good at all.
We are going to get better. I believe it.
Yeah. Let me get my producer with that. My goodness.
Yeah.
They have a solid bullpen. They have flamethrower coming out of the closer spot. Dude, can the Orioles finally put it together? They won the division a couple years ago. Are they finally going to take advantage and do something crazy and make some noise in the playoffs? I would love to see it. It'd be nice for Baltimore.
I would love to see it again. I love the ballpark. You know, the brick wall and the building is always historic to see. And look, I think Adley's going to have a big year. Colton Cowser's a good player.
That's him. That's who. That's who I was trying to think of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Colton Cowser?
Nope. Adley Rutschman. Could not think of the name.
There you go. Yeah. And then they got Tyler O'Neill. So I think there's a lot of potential here, though I do have them finishing second this year with 88 wins, though making it to the playoffs.
Who do you think can bench more, Tyler O'Neill or
probably me.
Duran from the Red Sox?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to say Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, that guy's an absolute menace.
Unit. Yeah, he's cock diesel.
Yeah, I am impressed with his stature. I would like to get on that meal plan for sure.
Me too, buddy. Send me a meal plan, please.
Send me a meal plan, dude. But these O's are still young, you know, and they still have more talent coming through the pipeline. Number 5 overall MLB prospect, Samuel Basallo, catcher.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up.
With Adley Rutschman, you know.
I'm so glad you brought that up because Fangraph dropped the ball here and didn't put that on there. But I did recognize the name, and he stood out to me in the spring training games that I watched. And I've been hearing whispers about him. He's a big boy catcher, right?
Yep.
Interesting how that will play out, obviously, with Rushman there, but one of them could move to DH, and I think they slide, O'Hearn out of there. But
Yeah, they just lost Santander to the Blue Jays, and
that's a big
maybe they
loss in my
lost one of
opinion.
those guys to first base.
That's a big loss in my opinion. They could move him to first base, and if he could get anything close to the offensive production of Santander, that would be one, surprising, and two, super impressive, and three, a big win for them. So
Santander sounds like a casino in Arizona.
well, every time I'm in Mexico, they have, I think it's a bank, a Spanish bank, right? Or that's
Sure.
Santander. Yeah, Santander, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
anyways.
go. Orioles are an interesting team. Could be another house of cards situation if they don't survive some injuries. They're young, but they've also gotten banged up a little bit, and there's not a lot of margin for error in this division with the Red Sox, potentially on the ultimate rebound here, and then obviously the next team that we're about to talk about. I would love to see the Orioles get it done. They've been snake bitten the last couple of years in the playoffs. The Rangers handled them pretty good on their way to the World Series victory. It's just is it now or never for the Orioles? It's hard to say that because they're so young, but it feels like they've been here now. They've arrived. Now's the time.
Yep, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
think now is the time, man. So they got that window. They need to capitalize.
Yep. New York, New York.
New York.
Start spreading the news. All right. So obviously your Los Angeles Dodgers took on the Yankees in the World Series. The little Dodgers got it done. Truly a David versus Goliath story. Really amazing to watch. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Miracle on Ice, Miracle on Grass, I guess.
Yep.
Good for the Dodgers, but the Yankees, mighty Yankees, fell. The evil empire. Which is which? Dodgers, Yankees. Who's the evil empire? I don't know. Let's talk about that later. Yankees retooled. Interesting acquisitions. I like them.
Yep.
Already dealing with a lot of injuries. A lot of
Yeah.
injuries.
Yeah.
Oof. Have they fixed the defense of the infamous scouting report that the Dodgers had on them in the World Series? Make them field their positions, that very famous fifth inning. What's going to happen? Okay.
Well, I will say the injuries are a big concern. Obviously, Garrett Cole is a massive loss. I mean, that cannot be understated. I don't think there is a final decision on what's going on with Giancarlo, and if there's, it sounds like it's heading towards surgery, though.
Yeah,
Right?
those elbows are tricky, man. And if it's not one thing, it's the other for him. I mean, he's built like Adonis, and I love watching him play the game of baseball. It's hard to watch him continuously deal with these hampering injuries.
Yeah, and I hope he pulls through it. I love watching him play, but I wouldn't also be surprised if he's like, I don't know if I want to come back from double, elbow surgery, and I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know what that recovery sounds miserable. I'm just holding my hands right here, not being able to use them, and yeah, I'm not that talented with my feet, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And then listen, they got Paulie Goldschmidt, man. Like, what's Paulie still got? I think he can still slap together a pretty good offensive season. I think they improved in the outfield a little bit by moving Belly, who I'm a big fan of Belly, to center. Get Judge out of there, put him back to right. I think that him and Wright's a little bit of an increase in defensive skill opposed to Soto, but not much.
Who, Judge?
I mean he did win Gold Glove, didn't he?
Yeah, I absolute improvement in right field for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. Do you think it's a hard right field to play in New York, or is it easy? It's just so short.
It must make it harder, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't speak a lot in the outfield. I didn't play much outfield, to be honest. So, yeah, you speak on that one.
I don't know. I feel like you just play on the warning track, and anything over your head's a home run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're on the right team too. It's not like the fans in the stands are gonna rip your arms off when you go in the stands.
Exactly.
So
Exactly, dude. One good thing about Stanton being out with the addition of Bellinger, it probably makes for a lot less awkward interactions because Stanton's ex-wife is now Cody Bellinger's wife, I believe.
good find. I did not know that. That's juicy. Did you go to
Yeah,
TMZ for that?
let me have my producer pull it up real quick. We'll get a picture of
Shout
her.
out.
Ding.
Shout out to Millie
Right here.
Mars.
Yeah, exactly. So that can really help them avoid some really awkward interactions, I think. So that's good to hear. But dude, Jared Cole, like you said, he's down. Stan's down.
I was just
Lucas Gill
I was just
down.
thinking about if Stan was still in the outfield. Sorry, I just was picturing Cody and Stan in the outfield fighting. It was
Yeah,
good.
that'd be a
Cody
heck of a
lost.
fight, actually, dude. I mean, that would be like freaking Brad Pitt and Troy. That'd be crazy.
It was pretty quick in my head. Yeah, Cody lost.
Really? Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Stan
what they
just
said
kind of
about Brad Pitt and Troy too, and then he stabbed the guy in the neck and immediately won. But I
We're
digress.
talking about Achilles here, okay? A legend.
That's true. 2017, Cody Bellinger was a legend, just for the record.
That is true. I will give that to him.
They got Max Fried. That's a huge addition.
Huge. And it's like, what are you going to get out of Strowman? I don't know. I think you're going to get some good innings out of Rodon, but Fried was a huge pickup for sure.
He's refusing to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, Strowman, he's an interesting one to me.
Max Fried, man, welcome to the Yankees. He's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders immediately.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's going to have to kind of toe the line there for that starting pitching staff a lot of the way. I mean, it really depends on if Strowman stays in there and how well he performs if he stays. And, what Carlos Rodon looks like. I think that's a big pickup for them to get Rodon, though, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Rodon was solid for them last year, kind of one of their workhorses for sure. Nestor, he's gone. He's over at the Brewers now, as we discussed. He's always going to be known as the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam, but he gave the Yankees a lot of good innings for a long time. He kind of tapered off and all that stuff, but you can't discount what he did provide to that team for years.
Nestor was big for them. Nestor was big. I think he was a big Yankee fan favorite too. Solid mustache, a crafty pitcher, a good personality. I like Nestor Cortez for sure. With the Yankees, you never know who they're going to pick up during the season. I mean, they could drop, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80 million during the season and pick up some new additions, and the team could be a totally different team. So you can never really count that out with the Yankees. They're going to spend if they need to. And I think that maybe they could use to spend a little bit.
Yeah, I like the reshuffling that they've done a little bit too. They're putting Jazz back at second base, which I think is better. They had Gleyber Torres there last year. He was not much of a defensive second baseman, and that showed in the World Series. It showed with Jazz playing third base in the World Series.
Yeah.
They had a lot of players playing out of their comfort zones. Obviously, Volpe is solid at shortstop. Who's playing first? Rizzo is not there anymore. Is it Wells?
Goldschmidt.
No, Wells is the catcher. Oh, Goldschmidt. Yeah, thank you. Good, solid defensive first baseman. Have they adjusted to the scouting report? I think they had to have at this point. I think they're going to be better defensively, and that means a lot. Can they pitch now, though?
Well, look, the World Series in itself, and especially the last game of the World Series showed you how important the fundamentals and defense are. I mean, even at the highest level, obviously. I want to pose this to you. Like, what if there's a world in which we're in the middle of the season, and let's say the Yankees do pick up Sandy Alcantara, and then Luis Gil comes back from the lat injury 3 months later. Then they have Luis Gil, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, and Sandy Alcantara. That's a hell of a starting rotation. 4.
Yeah, and these series get really short in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
And I think playoffs is all about pitching, if it's going to be from the bullpen or if it's going to be just a heroic effort from the starting rotation. If that does happen, that could be huge. And if Sandy Alcantara stays healthy, could be huge. What will they give him in return? Who knows?
We shall see.
But I think that's a great point by you right there. And I could see the Yankees being in play for that for sure.
So to round this out, how do you have this division playing out?
It's tough. It's tough here, Corey. Give me. How do you want me to do this? 1, 2, 3. You just want me to say them all out loud?
Why don't you give me the 1, 2, 3, and after each team, you say the number of wins they're gonna get.
All right, I like that. I'm gonna start with the New York Yankees. Give me 86 wins.
In first place?
No.
Oh, you're going third to first.
Yeah. Give me the Baltimore
Like it.
Orioles at 88, and give me the Boston Red Sox at 92.
Ooh, I like it. I like it, Connie. Looking at my numbers now after you so graciously said yours, I kind of had the Red Sox running away with the division a little bit more than I actually feel deep down inside, but I'm just going to roll with it and not question it. I got the Yankees at 84 wins, the Orioles at 86, and the Red Sox at a whopping 99.
99. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm really
You're bleeding red over there. I like that.
I'm really feeling it, man, this year.
Wow. I like that. There's a vibe you're picking up for
There
sure.
is. I can smell it. It smells like Dunkin' Donuts.
Smells like Dunkin' Donuts. Smells like Boston Market.
Yeah. Oh God, is that still open? Should they be a sponsor?
Boston Market's. I would love to have a sponsored Boston Market, dude. Tell you that much.
Remember
But
when
if
we
I
had one
do,
back
I
here
would
at
never
home?
look like Tyler O'Neill. That's for sure.
We used to have one back at home. Remember way back in the day? I just thought they all went out of business.
Yeah. Okay, so you are going Boston by a long shot.
Yep.
Love it. Okay. Let's do a quick recap of the 3 videos to wrap this series up.
Let's
What do
do
you
it.
think?
Lead the charge. Let's do it.
Lead the charge. I'm going to start in the West. How the West was won, episode 1.
Oh, you expected me to keep my notes? Oh, damn. Shit.
Yeah, I'll talk really slow. NL West. Gonna be a hell of a division. The new evil empire that some are saying it, and some are saying it. NL West, the Dodgers are going to repeat as NL West champions. Put them in the NLCS for me. And that's the end of their road.
Nice. Losing to who?
You'll see.
Okay.
To sum out my AL West, I got kind of a dark horse of sorts a little bit. I'm not a betting man, but there could be some money won for those who are interested. AL West, give me the Seattle Manners, the wearing seamen, as Corey would say.
Warring seamen.
The warring hardy seamen. Okay, Seattle
Wearing
Manners.
semen.
Go get yourself a cup of coffee. Book it. Those horses in that starting rotation, they're gonna go the distance, pole to pole.
This is a kid show for sure.
Mariners.
No, I believe in it too, because we love the big dumper as well.
Absolutely love the big dumper. Give me your West predictions.
I mean, I think there's no surprise here. I got the Dodgers winning the NL West, but I think that they will be pressed all year, and the Diamondbacks will be chasing their little tails along with the Padres. And let's not count out San Fran, but I do have the Dodgers winning that. But I'm not saying it's going to be, a blowout by any means. AL West, I'm going to take your Texas Rangers there again.
Yeah.
Yeehaw, I like me some Cowboys in my life, so give me that Texas Rangers. And yeah, but I also see Seattle, potentially winning it as well too. But I'm gonna take the Rangers just so we can have something to debate.
Yep. I love that. Okay, book it. AL Central, quick recap. Just go ahead and give me the Twins. Also kind of a dark horse. A lot of good teams in that division. A lot of teams that I haven't thought about. But I am going with my Minnesota Twins and the fighting Trevor Plouffe and Hank Congers.
Respect to that. Shout out to Trevor Plouffe and Hank Conger. And just because you dropped those names, I'm gonna roll with you and switch up. Go back to the Twins, and maybe me and Hank can download a little bit and talk about the season as we go and be a regular on the show. We'll work on that. Producer, can you get on that, please?
Absolutely. NL Central, nothing like Wrigleyville, tell you that much. You got to go to Wrigleyville. Counter, that's what people from Chicago call me. Counter. Shout out to Joliet, Illinois. A lot of good friends from Illinois there that went to my college. That is a suburb of Chicago. I am going with the Chicago Cubs to win the NL Central. And they could be dangerous in the playoffs.
I'm also going with the Cubs. I'm not really going to put too much into the 2-game series in Japan. The season's young. It was a weird thing. And I think they're going to be just fine.
Yep, absolutely. Take the East, brother. Go ahead.
One more time?
Yeah, just
for,
recap.
For good measure.
NL, and then give me your World Series pick.
So, again, for me personally, AL East, I got the Red Sox by quite a healthy margin personally this year. They are my AL team of the year for me personally. They are red dead. And then the NL East, I got the Phillies winning that as well, too. I got the Dodgers Red Sox World Series. And who am I not to pick the Dodgers to win the World Series? Because a boy can dream, okay? A boy can dream.
Boy can dream. Would be the first repeat World Series champion since mid-90s Yankees.
That's right.
Put me down for the Dodgers being defeated in the NLCS.
By whom?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Nice.
Put the Phillies in the World Series against your Boston Bean Eaters. I got
That'd be
Phillies,
good.
Red Sox, and give me Phillies winning it all.
So we're going to have a red out for the World Series.
We're going to have a red out, and we're also going to have a Philadelphia championship in the NFL and the MLB.
Boy, I'd hate that. My
Yeah.
wife is an Eagles fan somehow. We don't need to talk about that. I don't know how that all happened, but that's another episode.
The city may not survive.
The city may burn to the ground finally.
It may be a bad day to be a Philly cheesesteak. That's for sure.
I think any day is a bad day to be a Philly cheesesteak, at least around me.
I love that. We are keeping our seats here, ladies and gentlemen, and that will wrap up this year's series on our projections for the 2025 Major League Baseball season. Dodgers start off 2-0. Cubs are on their way to being 162. Could be a rough season for them.
Another bad team in Chicago, it looks like. Might break another record.
Exactly. Should be a fun season. I got the Phillies winning it all. Follow us on the socials. Let us know your thoughts.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe. Come hang out with us for the year. We would love to have you along. Post some topics of conversation for the season for each podcast. And this is going to be a fun thing as we go and as we build. So we appreciate you all being here. We're having fun. That's what it's all about. And, the Pitch Please team, thanks you for your viewership.
Triple P, brother. Triple P out. We'll be talking to you all a little bit later, and we appreciate the time. Go baseball.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.